Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 Local News for Friday, July 25th, 2025. A former La Contenta middle school teacher has pled guilty to charges related to child pornography. Joseph Anthony Borges III, a 50-year-old resident of Yucca Valley and teacher at the Yucca Valley Middle School, was arrested for investigation into possession of child pornography on November 20th, 2023. At the time, the Sheriff's Specialized Investigations Division Crimes Against Children Detail received a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children concerning child sexual abuse material, which they say identified Borges as a suspect and led to his arrest. Yesterday, in San Bernardino County's Joshua Tree Courthouse, Borges entered a guilty plea to the charge of possession of child pornography. He was sentenced to 4 days in county jail, 2 years of supervised probation, and is required to complete a sex offender treatment program. He will also be required to register as a sex offender. On July 8th, the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians announced that the tribe's ancestral Chemehuevi Cemetery in 29 Palms has been added to the National Register of Historic Places. Reporter Heather Clisby has more.
Located on Adobe Road at the northeast intersection of Sullivan Road, the parcel itself is roughly an acre of dry dirt. Before the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians, the sacred soil holds ancestors who made this desert their home. Now officially on the National Register of Historic Places, the 29 Palms Chemehuevi Indian Burial Ground has earned federal status from the U.S. National Park Service. 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians Chief Administrative Officer Anthony Madrigal stated that the designation was attained specifically for federal protection.
Over time, there's just been a lot of encroachment activity that has occurred within the original Oasis footprint in terms of, historical development that has happened. We're talking, residential, commercial, just, little things that accumulated over time that have encroached and diminished the footprint of what we view as the Oasis today, and the development up to and around the cemetery itself.
Mostly nomadic, the Chemehuevi people traversed the desert between California and Utah before settling at the Oasis of Mara in the 1860s. In modern day, a settlement agreement with the city of 29 Palms to quitclaim the property to the tribe was reached. This historic designation is part of a long-term plan to educate and protect tribal history.
One of the things we wanted to do is get this designation in place to, inform the local community that this place is very significant to the first Americans who resided in this area, to the Native Americans, to the Chemehuevi and Serrano, that it is important to, protect, but also look at eligibility to get funding to hopefully undertake and implement measures to further preserve the cemetery as intended. There is no plans to change the specific use of it, but to only enhance the preservation efforts and put in the appropriate infrastructure, again, to preserve it and protect it.
Primarily in use in the mid-1800s to the early 1900s, the grounds contain approximately 50 to 60 graves, including that of Jim Boniface, a Chemehuevi leader who died in 1903. The cemetery is also linked to the infamous Willie Boy incident of 1909, as Mrs. Waterman was buried there after being killed by Willie Boy. While the grounds have not had a burial there in more than half a century, Madrigal would not rule out future use.
Again, it's part of the fabric of the larger Oasis of Mara, which is, the homeland of the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians, and we look to continue to preserve areas such as this around that footprint.
Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Heather Clisby.
You're invited to a pool party tonight in 29 Palms, hosted by the City of 29 Palms Parks and Recreation Department. The Soak Up the Fun family pool party is happening at Lucky Park and will feature live music by DJ LX Zandro, local food vendor 808 N&N Grinds on the Grill, and a pop-up mini-golf experience presented by Mojave Land. Attendees will also have the chance to take home exclusive 29 Palms Parks and Recreation merchandise. The pool will be open for this totally free event, happening tonight at 6:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. at Lucky Park Pool. All children under 17 must be accompanied by an adult. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., the Tiny Pony Tavern will be raising funds for a spay and neuter clinic through the Animal Action League. They will have drink specials, brunch eats, merchandise from local pet shop High Desert Tales, DJs spinning vinyl tracks, and of course, adoptable dogs from the Joshua Tree No-Kill Shelter. Shelters are overcrowded all over Southern California, and spaying or neutering your pet is the first step in making sure they don't make any more. Spaying or neutering a pet can also keep them from roaming and acting out and can lead to longer, healthier lives for dogs and cats. Come by and enjoy some brunch at the Tiny Pony Tavern in Yucca Valley tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. They're located at 57205 29 Palms Highway, right next to the fire station and across the highway from Shoe City. And finally, registration is now open for youth soccer and volleyball leagues in 29 Palms. The city's Parks and Recreation Department will be running the leagues for children and young teens beginning in September. The leagues are designed to encourage teamwork, skill development, and fun in a safe, supportive environment. The city says players will build confidence, learn the fundamentals of the games, and develop sportsmanship through regular practices and exciting games. Soccer is open to kids ages 4 through 14, and volleyball is open to grades 4 through 8. Registration is $56 with discounts for families and closes on August 17th. The Parks and Recreation Department is also seeking volunteer coaches for both the soccer and volleyball programs. No prior coaching experience is necessary, just a willingness to lead, inspire, and support youth in a positive and encouraging environment. All coaches must pass a nationwide background screening. To sign up as a player or coach, contact the 29 Palms Parks and Recreation Department at 760-367-7562, or you can use a link in this story at Z107.7FM.com. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@Z1077FM.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.